If you have any affinity whatsoever for I can't think of the spice. Come on,
horseradish.
Horseradish. You got to eat them because I love horseradish, and those are delicious. This is my second time. Thank you.
Future better.
He needs to register. It's too late. It's too late. First of all, I do want to make sure that we mention that Ed Casemeyer would have been here this evening. He's part of this Team 12. Ed actually is doing fatherly duty. He took Griffin to the Railroad Country Club. Rudy, the guy from the movie, is speaking, and Griffin really wanted to see him, and so he went over there. And I'm sure he'll say nice things about us to everybody too, like he should. But Ed is dedicated. He was very worried about last night. I told him not to worry.
It's okay.
I want to make sure that you see that Clarence and Terry are here. One of the things that happened during the primary, obviously, is that there was a lot of openings, and a lot of us elbowed for space. 10 of us were elbowing to try to beat the 3 that came through. And the race was run nicely. I listened to Terry and Clarence talk, and I liked what they said. And I watched how they treated me and how they treated each other and how they treated the other candidates, and I liked the way they did that. And it took us no time at all to fall in together, I think a day or two after the election, and say, we'll make a great coalition, let's run together. And Ed called us also and drew us together. He likes us and he wants us in. And I think, in Terry, you have someone, I'm going to get the right words here, I have it. She has passion and vision. She really does have vision. Sometimes she talks about it for a long time, and I love it. I've seen Terry tear up when she talks about her vision sometimes, because it really does mean something to her. Clarence is a model of perseverance, first of all. He's a machine for campaigning, and it's only because he has such a deep concern for others that he does all that. He wants to get elected, and I see the things he does, he works for CAC. Say what CAC is, Columbia Action Council, right? He works for that, which is looking after people that need to be looked after, and I'm very impressed by him and what he does. And of course, Ed provides us with a sort of pragmatism, which is really awesome, and at the same time, he has this deep experience, which the 3 of us have already dedicated ourselves to relying on with Ed, and with ourselves, because we are going to be the only district that's going to have 3 brand new delegates, no matter who you vote for. But these are the 3 you want for sure, because we work well together, we're transparent with each other in the campaign, we came to trust each other almost immediately, we share events, we share what's going on, nobody's hiding anything from anybody, and when we get down to the legislature, I'm sure we'll be telling each other, did you see this thing, did you see that? This is going to affect District 12, it's important that we take care of this, and it'll be one of us that will take care of it. These 2 are really smart people, and I think I am too, but I don't know if I'm as smart as they are, but nonetheless, they're some really excellent people. I would like to say that I think that we do bring that sort of experience. Terry and Clarence are doctors, and they have this sort of expertise on healthcare. I'm a teacher. I have this sort of expertise on education, and I've asked them questions about things like that. And Ed has just this deep expertise in the legislature and budgetary things, because Ed is the chairman of the Budget and Taxation Committee, which many would tell you is the 2nd most powerful position in the Maryland Senate. Okay, and so it's important to keep him in office because he understands the needs, and he also understands the needs of this district. And he looks after it, and he will help us to look after it at the same time. And so it sort of becomes a question of what we sort of represent and who we are. And one of the things that bothers me, really bothers me when I hear the Republicans talk, is how they tear down this state. Okay, how they tell you it's a bad place to live, and how they tell you that we're overtaxed, and they just sit there. They have nothing good to say about living here. And I've lived here my whole life. I live in Catonsville. I've been a teacher here for over 30 years. And I think this is a great place to live. And maybe we pay a little more taxes. I think we probably do. We get great service in this state. We're treated very, very well. And people who need to be looked after in this state are looked after very well. And I feel very strongly that that's kind of our job and our duty, that we take care of folks that need it, that we help people if they lose their job to bridge the gap between this job and the next job, and that we help people to find public transportation if they need it. That we really reach forward. And there's a number of issues that are near and dear to me. Obviously, education is right off the bat, because I'm a teacher. And I take it very personally. I want to stay in the classroom if I can, in between being in the legislature. And so far, the school system in Howard County that I'm in has made that possible for this year. I think it helps me to be connected to what's going on and help me to understand how things manifest themselves. But I also think there's a number of other issues that follow right along with that. I think how we educate people, what we educate them in, leads us to a stronger state. For example, Tara, my wife here, and I'll introduce her at this point because she's also a great help in this kind of thing. She works at CCBC, and she's a liaison for STEM between CCBC and Baltimore County Schools. There's 4,000 or 5,000
Well, just in like engineering, but if you start looking at the cyber world,
Right,
there's
what else?
18,000
Right. If you look at STEM, there's 4,000 or 5,000 jobs. In cybersecurity, there are
18,000.
18,000. Is that really?
Unanswered.
Start
And
to
just in
look.
Maryland.
Why are they here? Why are those jobs here in Maryland? The reason is because UMUC, University of Maryland, University College, and the community colleges, and even the universities are all training people toward this, because by training people toward the jobs of the future, we create those jobs of the future. They come to Maryland. Jobs will not run away. You can look at jobs of the past, and this is why the word progressive is so positive a word for us, because we are looking forward, not backward. We don't have to go back to something that was in the past. We need to move forward to what's coming. We need to train our students for the future. We need to train them for jobs of the future. And we don't know what they are. And so people criticize the Common Core. I teach the Common Core. It is making students into thinkers. It is making them into problem solvers, making people who work in groups. This is what we need for the future. We don't know exactly what the problems are going to be, but we have to be sure that we have people who are ready to tackle those problems. And when we do that, we create a viable workforce, and people come to this state because they want to hire our viable workforce. Rick Perry last fall said how all the jobs are going to leave Maryland and go to Texas. But you know, not all businesses go to Texas. And do you know why? Because they don't have as good of an educated workforce as we have. We have it in Maryland because we have one of the strongest education systems in the nation. And we need to keep it strong that way. And so I'll just kind of close by saying that, you know, that we need to jumpstart jobs like renewable energy. We need to look at mass transit. And right down here is a great example of it. What you do is walk down the road and see that you can get on mass transit and get into the city. And if you don't have a car, you still have a way to get around. And I was talking with Scott earlier. We were talking about Scott. I was talking to Scott earlier, and I said we need to begin to break our addiction to fossil fuels. And the way to do that is to look to renewable energy, is to look to other modes of transportation that will get us from place to place. Instead of just building more highways that people will drive on, those highways need to be structured in a different way. So it's about long-term vision, and I hope to be in office for quite a while, and I hope these two are in office with me. I'll feel much more comfortable if they're there, I'll tell you, because they give me a lot of good advice. And I'm not going to run too long now, and I have, but I want to point out that there's a couple people here this evening. Tara was the first one I introduced, who's been a huge help to me. I introduced Margaret at the beginning. I've got a couple of volunteers tonight who work like heck for me for nothing. And that's Josh, who's taking a picture of me here, and Casey. And Ellen, are you still here? Is Ellen still here?
Back here.
Ellen's in the back there. They've done a whole lot of work for me. Even Reggie. I got to point out Reggie, because he works for Clarence, but now he has to work for me too. He even had to sit in the car with me one night and listen to me blather on when we put up signs for a while, and that was a long for me. And I got to point out that Brian, he ran in the race, and he's been hugely magnanimous about stepping up and stepping in behind us, because he knows that it's important that we get elected. He knows what we stand for, and it's the same thing he stands for. It's making sure that everybody has an equal shot. People aren't all going to come out the same, but you have to be sure that everybody has equal opportunity to do so. You have to do it in schools, you have to do it in jobs. You have to make sure that people have a chance to reach their potential, both for them and for us. If people reach their potential, we get more out of them. And that's it. I'm done. Thank you.